Welcome to the Dark Manor podcast. I'm Hayden.
I'm Hacksoner David.
And today we are going to be reading one of my all-time favorite creepypastas, number 2 on my list.
Candle Cove.
I know what it was, David.
Yeah, but they don't know what it is.
Well, I was going to reveal it.
Like it's in the title.
It's in the fucking title as well.
No, it's not.
So,
anyway, we're reading Candle Cove today. This should be fun. It's not long, it's not short.
yeah.
It's there.
Anyway, let's get this started.
Okay.
Net nostalgia form. Television. Parentheses. Local. I didn't remember this kid show. It was called Candle Cove, and I must have been 6 or 7. I never found reference to it anywhere, so I think it was on a local station around 1971 or 1972. I lived in Irontown at the time. I don't remember which station, but I do remember it was on at a weird time, like 4 o'clock p.m.
Mike Painter, 65. Subject. Response. Candle Cove local kids show. It seems really familiar to me. I grew up outside of Ashland and was like 9 years old in 72. Candle Cove. Was it about pirates? I remember a pirate marionette at the mouth of a cave talking to a little girl.
Sky Shale 033. Subject. Response. Candle Cove local kids show? Yes! Okay, I'm not... Real low budget. His head was an old porcelain baby doll. Looked like an antique that didn't belong on the body. I don't remember what station this was. I don't think it was WTSF though.
Wait, trisexual favors.
What the fuck? That's not in the story.
That's what that's what WTSF stands for. Wait, trisexual favors. Jaren, 2005. Subject, response, Candle Cove local kids show? Sorry to resurrect this old thread, but I know exactly what show you mean. Oh, god damn it. Sorry to resurrect this old thread, but I know exactly what show you mean, Sky Shale. I think Candle Cove ran for only a couple months in 71, not 72. I was 12 and I watched it a few times with my brother. It was a channel 58, whatever station that was. My mom would let me switch to it after the news. Let me see what I can remember. It took place in Candle Cove, and it was about a little girl who imagined herself to be friends with pirates. The pirate ship was called the Laughing Stock, and Pirate Percy wasn't a very good pirate because he got scared too easily. And there was a Calliope music constantly playing. Don't remember the girl's name. Janice or Jade or something. I think it was Janice.
Sky Shale 033. Subject. Response. 58. I remember the bow of the ship was a wooden smiling face with a lower jaw submerged. It looked like it was swallowing the sea, and it had that awful Ed Wynn voice and laugh. I especially... You have to go inside. Wait, that's in the... was
I have no idea who that
and
is.
of the head that talked.
Mike Painter, 65. Subject, response, Candle Cove local kids show? Haha, I remember now too. I just hit my desk. Haha, I remember now too, winky face. Do you remember this part, Sky Shale? You have to go inside.
Go. Sorry, don't bring that. Yes, I remember. That's what the ship always told Percy when there was a spooky place he had to go in, like a cave or a dark room where the treasure was. And the camera would push in on Laughingstock's face with each pause. You have to go inside. With his 2 eyes askew and that flopping foam jaw and the fishing line that opened and closed it. It looked so cheap and awful. You guys remember the villain?
Kevin Hart.
Paul Blart?
Kevin Hart? Kevin Hart, subject, response, Candle Cove local kids show? I honestly thought the villain was Pirate Percy. I was about 5 when the show was on. Nightmare fuel.
2005. Subject. Response. Candle Cove local kid show? That wasn't the villain. The puppet with the mustache. That was the villain's sidekick. Horace Horrible. He had a monocle too, but it was just the top of a mustache. I used to think he had only one eye. But yeah, the villain was another marionette. The Skin Taker. I can't believe they let us watch back then.
Kevin Hart, subject, response. Candle Cove local kid show? Jesus H. Christ, the Skin Taker. What kind of a kid show were we watching? I seriously could not look at the screen when the Skin Taker showed up. He just descended out of nowhere on his strings, just a dirty skeleton wearing that brown top hat and cape. And his glass eyes that were too big for his skull. Christ almighty.
Why bring religion into that, Kevin Hart?
I never thought I'd hear that sentence.
I shall 033. Subject response. Candle Cove local kid show. Wasn't his top hat and cloak all sewn up crazily? Was that supposed to be children's skin?
Mike Painter, 65. Subject response. Candle Cove local kid show? Yeah, I think so. Remember his mouth didn't open and close? His jaw just slid back and forth. I'm guessing that's supposed to say forth. I remember the little...
No, forth.
Back and forth, yo. I remember the little girl said, "Why does your mouth move like that?" And the Skin Taker didn't look at the girl, but at the camera and said, "To grind your skin!"
Skyshill, 33. Well, 033. Subject. Response. Candle Cove local kid show.
Loco
I'm
shit
so...
show? Loco shit show?
I'm so relieved that other people remember this terrible show. I used to have this awful memory. A bad dream where the opening jingle ended, the show faded in from black, and the characters were there. But the camera was just cutting to each of their faces. They were just screaming. And the puppets and marionettes were flailing spastically. And just all screaming. The girl was just moaning. And crying like she had just been through hours of this. I woke up many times from that nightmare. I used to wet the bed when I had it.
Wow, what a pussy. Kevin Hart response. Kevin Hart, subject response. Candle Cove local kid show? I don't think that was a dream. I remember that. I remember that was an episode.
Skyshill 033. Subject. Response. Candle Cove local kid show? No. Not possible. There was no plot or anything. I mean, literally, just standing there in place, crying and screaming for the whole show.
Kevin Hart, subject response. Candle Cove local kid show? Maybe I'm manufacturing the memory because you said that, but I swear to God, I remember seeing what you described. They just screamed.
Jaren, 2000. Since there's only 2 paragraphs left, can I end it?
No.
Aw.
Just read.
Jaren, 2005. Subject. Response. Candle Cove local kid show? Oh, God. Yes. The little girl, Janice. I remember seeing her shake, and the Skin Taker screaming through his
gnashing, I swear to God.
Gnashing teeth. His jaw careening so wildly I thought it would come off its wire hinges. I turned it off, and it was the last time I watched. I ran to tell my brother, and we didn't have the courage to turn it back on.
Mike Painter, 65. Subject, response, Candle Cove local kid show? I visited my mom today at the nursing home. I asked her about it when I was little, in the early 70s, when I was 8 or 9, if she remembered a kid's show, Candle Cove. She said she was surprised I could remember that, and I asked why, and she said, "Because I used to think it was so strange that you said, 'I'm gonna go watch Candle Cove now, Mom.' And then you would turn the TV to static and just watch dead air for 30 minutes. You had a big imagination with your little pirate show." And that's the end of Candle Cove.
So, we're not gonna review this without bringing up Channel Zero.
Okay. So
because
let's just not review
that's
it.
kind of essential to reviewing it because of Channel Zero built upon this a lot.
Yeah.
And possibly even had one of the characters from the creepypasta come back, with Mike Painter being the main character of the show or the season of Channel Zero. But like watching in that season of Channel Zero and then going back to this, there's somewhat a lot to be desired now because of all the stuff told to us through the TV show, even though the TV show might not be canon to the original story. And but it's still good for like giving you a basics on what the show was about in the first place, and not really expanding on like why it was just static. Because some creepypastas have a downfall of over-explaining.
Yeah.
This gives you the fear of the unknown, like Audacity's lagging.
Yeah. And then it's like all these kids, they
now.
watched it, but then they figured like, of course.
Continue.
I forgot what I was saying, but basically it was like they all remember like one. I need to start over. They all remember like they were watching this like random kid show, and then they remember all this weird stuff they never thought of before. And then turns to figure out some weird shit was happening, like all the dolls randomly screaming, and the skin taker himself, just for example. Then they realized that they were all just watching TV static. And it's like, how do you figure all that stuff out just from TV static? And it's like, they all have experienced basically the same exact shit. And it's just weird, and it doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, it makes sense that it doesn't make sense.
Ghosts.
Uh-huh.
Ghosts.
Ooh, spooky.
Mike Painter's brother. Well, I mean, yeah, it has a definite fear of the unknown, and that's what makes the story somewhat scary. Like, okay, what if the show where I like to watch is just static? Like, I switch on SpongeBob, it might not even be SpongeBob. Might be Squidward's suicide, but then again, it can just be static. Then there's like the fear of, what if the thing comes back? The thing that made them all see the same show. Oh, this same thing from just static. Or maybe the show was there and the entity controlling the show made the adults think is static, but it wasn't really.
Sorry, I'm not really paying attention. I'm looking through a bunch of stuff, and I'm saving it. It has creepypasta stuff.
We're in the middle of a fucking
That doesn't
podcast.
mean I can't look at shit we can read later, you cunt.
Well, score from 1 to 10, how do you rate it?
From 1 to 10, I give it an 8.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8 too.
I wish it could have a bit more story, but that's about it.
Yeah. Well, this has been the Dark Manor Podcast. I'm Hayden.
I'm Haxon or David.
Good night.